I've got a new lens, the Tamron 150 to 500. Never had a Tamron lens before in my life, never used one. And if you can't tell, we've come to the right place to try it. We've come to Darlington Park, and we're going to attempt to photograph some superbikes. I feel like there's going to be a lot of that today. So I'm not even gonna hold this back. This lens, I love it. And if you're in the market for a telephoto lens and this will fit your camera, just buy it. But I'm not making this video to just tell you to buy it. No questions asked. The link to Amazon where you can pick this up is down below. But if you wanna know exactly why I love this lens and get a few bits of advice on how to nail the photos like I did, then keep watching. This lens obviously covers a wide focal range and reminds me very much of the similarly priced Sigma 150 to 600, excluding that extra 100mm at the very top. But does that really matter? The thing is, over the last few months, I've been weighing up this whole focal range situation. I own the Sony 100 to 400, and there's been situations where I want that extra bit of focal range, and there's been other situations where I'm not too bothered. I've tried the teleconverters that Sony make, and if I'm honest, I'd sooner just crop my image than deal with a soft image. And these bikes were so fast.
Super burst mode it is then.
So sometimes cropping in post is actually just easier. But one of the biggest benefits of this Tamron lens over the Sony 100 to 400 and even the Sigma 150 to 600 is its size. It's pretty much the same length as the Sony 100 to 400 as it extends as you zoom in. Perhaps you're one of the people who find that really annoying. I know there are some people who do. But you can't deny when there's a lens of this size, it makes it super convenient for putting in your bag and traveling. The Sigma on the other hand is a fair bit larger than both of these lenses. And for the Sigma to be able to fit in my bag, well, I'd have to take everything out of it. And regardless, the range up to 500mm was perfectly fine for me to do the motorsport photography the other day. But obviously that depends on where you're sitting or standing and the track that you're at. Something way more important than the size of it is obviously the image quality, the reason we buy these lenses. Now, we aren't going to be doing any testing with grids and sharpness graphs or anything like that. I don't do anything like that. However, what I can say about the photos I took with this lens, including this one, which is my favorite, this lens is fast to focus. I've actually used some Sony lenses on my Sony cameras and they haven't focused as fast as what this does. However, if you do decide to buy one of these, regardless of whether it's new or used, make sure you update it to the latest firmware, which is version 3 at the point of recording this. This lens also has a switch on the side to adjust the minimal focusing distance. You can set this to either be the full range of the lens, 3 meters or 15 meters. This setting was incredibly useful when I was taking these photos. Because there's the fencing between myself and the track, some lenses will naturally want to focus on the actual fence rather than anything which is past it, regardless of what settings you normally have. However, you can change this switch to either be 3 meters or 15 meters, so anything within that distance, it won't focus on. It doesn't even realize it's there. Now, the focusing with this lens isn't 100% accurate. There were times where I was taking a burst of photos with a fast shutter speed to see how the focusing was, and sometimes it would be a fraction soft. This is obviously when the subject is moving towards you or further away from you at a fast speed. However, just in comparison to my experiences with using Sony lenses, I wouldn't say it's that much different. Altogether, getting photos this sharp of bikes traveling nearly 200 miles an hour proves that this lens is perfectly capable of doing the job. Unfortunately, even though you may have the gear, getting them photos isn't as easy as you may think.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Well, I was just about to say, how is it going for you?
Yeah, like for me, I'm not a photographer as it is, so not only is this my first day photographing motorbikes, so rude. It's really difficult, to be fair. We rocked up and we've got some amazing shots instantly on this bend, and then we come to a few more places and I'm really struggling. I'm just finding it hard to keep up with the moving subjects. I'm all over the place.
So I'm still learning. I've got really no idea what I'm doing. I'm kind of just learning as I go, and from what I've seen on TikTok, Instagram, whatever. But like now, I'm at like 1/125 of a second, f11, which people may think that's really, really silly because everything's going to be in focus. However, because we're going to be moving and getting the motion blur, doesn't matter. And then obviously my ISO, whatever it needs to be to expose correctly for the day. But getting used to turning your whole body to wherever the bike or the car or whatever you're going to be photographing actually is. And then just do some practice shots. So as cars or bikes are coming along and you're not actually taking the photo of them, you're just getting used to focusing and bring it across and try and keep the car or the bike, the subject, in the middle of your viewfinder. And eventually you get used to the pacing. It's like everything else you do. You get used to the muscle memory of it, and then you can just take the photos. I use Sam's camera, did a few test shots, and straight away I was getting maybe out of 7 or 8 photos of one bike going across. Maybe 5 photos were perfectly sharp, so it's just practice.
I can use any camera, I can.
This lens has truly, truly surprised me. The build quality, the performance generally speaking has been top notch, apart from one thing. The image stabilization of the lens seems to be a little bit janky. When taking a photo with this lens, it seems to be perfectly fine. However, when you come over to the video part of it, sometimes at the 500mm end of the lens, it does seem to struggle to lock onto the subject. However, at the same time, you could argue why you're not using it on a tripod or supporting it on something. Regardless of this, I'm still blown away. It was an absolute blast using it at Donington Park, doing something completely different to anything else I've ever done in my life. Massive respect to the guys who do it professionally every single day with the teams. I would massively recommend to anybody to just go and try it and see what you come home with. I'm planning on doing a full A/B comparison of this lens against the Sony 100-400 to see which one actually performs better and which one is worth its money. So if you want to check that out, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for the notification for when that drops. As always, thank you very much for watching. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you real soon. Take care.